My name is Ruth, and this class is brought to you by CECA as a part of their free services, as a part of our free services that we offer. So, along with PTE, IELTS, and the NATI coaching conducted daily and on weekly basis, we also offer all these services which you can avail. So, if you or your friends are looking for PTE classes, please feel free to join us from 11 to 1 o'clock. And if you're looking at IELTS lessons, then feel free to join us from 2 to 4 o'clock. And these times are Canberra time. And my name is Ruth. I'm a certified IELTS trainer and also an ESL teacher. So I teach English in any form as a secondary language, and I train students for PTE, IELTS, TOEFL, any kind of English proficiency test. So without wasting time, let's go on to task 1. So task 1 of general training test is usually a letter. So there are 3 types of letters: formal, informal, and semi-formal letter. So since you have taken quite a few classes and you've written quite a few letters, I won't go into the details of it, but hi Crystal, nice to meet you too. Is this your first lesson? Okay, and have you taken IELTS before? Okay, then are you looking at general training test or a or academic? Are you looking at general? Okay. So we are just discussing task 1 of the IELTS general training test. And this is something called band descriptors, which we have already seen several times, but because Crystal is new here, we'll just go through it again. So if you're aiming at band 7 and above, it's very important that you look at the band descriptors to understand what is required of you to achieve band 7 and above. So for you to achieve your task, so there are 4 criteria for which you're marked: task achievement, coherence and cohesion, lexical resources, grammar range, and accuracy. So there are 4 factors. The first factor is called task achievement. For you to start off at 7 band, so you have to score 7, 7, 7, and 7 for each of these bands or each of these factors for you to end up getting your desired score. You can also get in between scores where people get 0.5, 0.25, and like that. So for you to achieve your task achievement for your general training test, for your task 1, you have to present a clear purpose with a consistent tone. So if you're writing a letter of apology or if you're writing a letter to request something, your tone should be consistent throughout. So you should be using phrases like please and thank you and all that. So a lot of that. And then if you can clearly present and highlight the key features and the bullet points presented in the letter, you would be achieving your task achievement. So your bullet points will have some main ideas. Sometimes each bullet point might also contain a sub idea. So if you can address each of those points or your requirement in your question, then you will be getting your 7 band for task achievement. For you to get your coherence and cohesion points, coherence means how clear you are in presenting your ideas. So what I mean by that is while you're writing, your paragraphing is very important. So your letter should contain at least 1 or 2 or 3 body paragraphs depending on the letter and the content. So each of these paragraphs should revolve around one central idea. If you put in more than one idea or 2 ideas, you go all over the place and your coherence points would be reduced. So for you to get your coherence, arrange your thoughts logically, or in simple words, every paragraph should revolve around one central idea. guys, even though I'm going on and on, if you are confused, if you want to ask me a question, feel free to stop me and ask me a question. I'll answer it. The second criteria in this factor is cohesion. Cohesion means how well your thoughts are linked. So every sentence has to be linked to the sentence prior to it. Every sentence has to be linked, the idea has to be linked to the sentence prior to it. So you have to use cohesive devices, or in other words, linking words. So you use your simple and complex connectors, you use your conjunctions, you use your linking devices to link ideas. That's very important. The third factor here for your band 7, if you can say, is your lexical resource. So lexical resource means your vocabulary in general. While vocabulary refers to just one word, lexical resource refers to a phrase or words, phrases, or chunks of words. And it's important that your vocabulary should contain less commonly used words. So like I tell you, like I've always given the example of sorry and apology. So we say I'm sorry, but we rarely say I apologize for my mistake. So it's important that you use less frequently used vocabulary to demonstrate that you're familiar with that your flair of writing is great. And also use less common lexical items. Then your collocations are important, which I have explained, and I will also in detail explain it later. And thirdly, you can produce occasional errors in word choice and spelling and formation. So 1 or 2 errors are allowed for your band 7. And the last factor in this, or the last factor, is your grammar range and accuracy. So here you need to use a variety of compound, simple, and complex sentences. So I will explain today. I was thinking of explaining all the 3 sentences today, but let's see how it goes. So you should use a variety of complex, simple, and compound sentences. So in short, display use of simple sentences and complex sentences, as well as compound complex sentences, which we will see today. And then it's okay if you make a few errors in grammar and punctuation, but if your communication, or if you're still able to communicate efficiently or effectively in your letter, then that will be ignored to some extent. I hope I'm being clear. Is there any doubts that you would like to ask? Like anything that you would like me to clarify? So this is for band 7 and above. So this is your basic requirement for a 7 band student. If you look at a 9 band student, the same criteria are satisfied, same factors are addressed, same criteria satisfied, but in a very sophisticated manner. So the use of cohesive devices are quite subtle, and you won't even know, it's not forced. But in band 7, you intentionally use it, subtle or not, you intentionally make use of your cohesive devices. And the grammar range and accuracy, the errors are quite minor, the punctuations are apt and to the point. So that's how you achieve a band 9. So you meet your basic criteria in a much advanced manner for a band 9 essay, or not a much advanced manner, but in a little more advanced manner. So this is important because you know that this is what is expected of you in the IELTS task 1, and you know what to write, and all this has to be met. Okay, so it's important that you understand your band descriptors. Shall I move on?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So there are 3 letters that you know: formal, semi-formal, and informal letters. So your greetings are important, or how you address the person that you're writing to is important. So if you're writing a formal letter, it is to a person that you have no idea who you're writing to. It could be a job application and you do not know their name. You could be you're writing a letter to somebody that you don't know of, a letter of complaint maybe, and you don't know who you're addressing to. I've seen letters where students write to whomsoever it may concern. Please don't use such language. Okay, so the even though you're writing a letter of complaint, or even though you're indignant at something, you will still address, or you will still write the letter as dear sir or madam, or you'll address the person as dear sir or madam. Then the second kind of a letter is a semi-formal or a semi-formal letter, where you're writing to a person that you know of, but in a professional setting. So it could be you're writing a letter to your manager, it could be you're writing a letter to your landlord, it could be you're writing a letter to someone that you know of, but in a professional setting. You could have even a good relationship with that person, but even so, if you're writing it for a professional reason, if you're writing it in a professional setting, then that should behave as a semi-formal letter. And the greeting or the addressing begins as dear Mr. and you put in the surname. I've seen students who write dear Mr. and they put in the first name, which is wrong. So the designation Mr. or Mrs. and then followed by the second name of the person. Okay, or you can put in the full name, the first and second name. So the last type of letter, or the third type of letter, is the informal letter, where you can address the person as anything that you like. You should address it as dear mom, dear brother, dear sister, dear first name, okay, or dear nickname, and that's how you address that person. Then if the tone of the letter, if it's in a formal letter, has to be formal throughout, and you cannot use contractions in your formal and semi-formal letter. And for your semi-formal letter, the tone of the letter is polite, but if you can use your formal language, it does not matter. And tone of the letter for your informal letters has to be informal, and you can use contractions for your informal letters. So do use contractions, I'm, and all that for your informal letters, but no abbreviations for all the three letters. Any doubts? Moving on. So task 1, task 2 will be given to you, and you're given about 60 minutes, not about, you're given exactly 60 minutes, and you have to complete both these tasks in the given time. So strongly recommend, or everyone strongly recommends, that you take about 20 minutes of your time for your task 1. 2 to 4 minutes has to be spent only for planning. So in your planning, these are the 4 points that you should be covering. Before you start the letter, these are the 4 things that you should make note of. The purpose of the letter. So you understand what kind of a letter is it? So is it a letter of thanks? Am I complaining? Am I apologizing for something? Okay, so you understand the purpose of the letter. So while you understand the purpose of the letter, you understand whether it's a formal letter, what your tone is going to be throughout. Okay. Then secondly, you understand who you're addressing it to. Who is this person that you're writing to? And you're writing to the manager, you're writing to someone. So that shows you what is the register. Register means how formal it is. Is it a formal, informal, or a semi-formal letter? Okay. And the fourth thing that you should understand is your imagination. What elements you have to make up? What is your given imagination? So you should have a background knowledge or a background information for this. For example, if the letter is asking you, or if the letter is a letter of apology, you're apologizing to your friend for maybe breaking something on a party, in a party at his house. So the purpose of the letter is to apologize for breaking maybe an antique showpiece or something. So writing a letter to apologize for that, and the bullet point says apologize and then offer to replace it, or offer to make amendments as he requires, either to pay it back, replace it, whatever he wants. So you're writing, the purpose is letter of apology. Then audience is going to be your friend, so it's going to be a formal letter, but you have to maintain the tone of apology consistently throughout your letter. And thirdly, you see how formal the letter is going to be. It's going to be informal, but you're not going to be joyous or very joyful throughout your letter, because you're writing a letter of apology. So it's better to put on a very sober tone to your letter. And fourthly, you will make use of your imagination. Try and understand the background. Okay, you had a party, that's all you know, and you've broken an antique showpiece. So you make a background. Okay, while I was standing here, my hand knocked it off, or it knocked over while I was running when someone was chasing me. I was playing tag and I ran and knocked it over. So you should use your imagination, try and understand what the background information is. Am I being clear to you guys? Any doubts?
All good, all good. Thank you.
So this should be the structure. You should have an introduction paragraph and 3 body paragraphs. Okay, and this is the grid which I keep talking about. So the first, so divide your page, or divide a paper into 4 and write the purpose of the letter, who are you writing to, and what is the register, or what's the formality of it. And then body para 1, the first bullet point. So you put in your imagination if needed, and the first bullet point in your question is going to be your body para 1. Body paragraph 2 is going to be the second bullet point, use your imagination. And body paragraph 3 has to be the third bullet point, and use your imagination. Okay. So when you open your letter, if it's a formal letter, you know it is dear and surname, or dear sir or madam. And paragraphing is very important. Okay. So 1 point, detail, 2nd point, detail, 3rd point, detail. This is how your body paragraph has to be. The closing statement for all your formal letters is yours faithfully, yours sincerely. And if it's informal, then all the best, warm regards, anything that you like. Okay. So throughout the lesson, if you wish to take a picture of it, please do so. So this is how you will be writing your letter. Hi, Mike, dear Michael, dear sir, madam, and all that, based on your formality. This is how you sign off. For a formal letter, you sign off yours faithfully. And for a semi-formal letter, sincerely, or yours sincerely, sincerely yours. And for the informal letter, you can always end with all the best, see you soon, take care, and all that. So before we move on, I'll just bring your attention to the 3 types of sentences, because you've been writing for a long time now. I just found this website during lunch. So this is for the type of conjunction and the punctuation. Like, we know that there are 3 types or 4 kinds of sentences. And there's something called clauses, which we should understand. Independent clause and dependent clause. An independent clause has a subject and a verb. It's not necessary it should have an object, but it mostly will have an object. So, or sometimes if it does not. So what you understand by an independent clause is there is always a subject, a person who is doing the action. There's always a verb, an action that's being done. And there would be an object or may not. It could just be, I sat down. Okay, so I is the subject, sat down is the verb. There is no object over there. So such sentences are also independent clauses. So the independent clauses is complete. It answers its own question. It can stand alone. A dependent clause is always starting with a conjunction. Okay, usually starts with a conjunction, and it is dependent on the first clause, or it is always dependent on another clause. It's always dependent on an independent clause. If you look at this, after I wrote my first novel last year, it contains a subject and a verb, but it does not contain a complete information after what happened or nothing. It's incomplete. Okay, so a simple sentence is the first sentence type that you should know. It has one independent clause. Okay, so it has an independent clause. Tom reads novels. So the subject is Tom, reads is the verb, and novels is the object. Tom reads newspapers. Now, if you see, it might have more than one object, and in such cases, this object is called a compound object. So Tom reads novels and newspapers. So there's more than one object. Tom reads and enjoys novels. So there is more than one verb here. So anything that adds to the object or adds to the verb, it's called compound object here, compound verb. Am I being clear, Jitan?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so these are the varieties of your simple sentences. And if you look at the punctuations for your simple sentence, never ever have a punctuation. Simple sentence has only one independent clause. What that means, a subject is there, a verb is there, an object may or may not be there. If you add an additional object, there should be an and. There should be a conjunction, and should be there, and that object is called a compound object. Even when you're separating the compound objects, there is no comma, no commas for your simple sentence. So you can put in two verbs, compound verbs. So Tom reads and enjoys. So there are two verbs here. The verbs have and, they're connected by and there is an object. So even for compound verbs, there are no commas. So far, are we clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we go to our compound sentence. So even though you are not expected to write a lot of compound sentences, I will discourage you from writing compound sentences, but this is just for your knowledge sake. So I'll just run through this. You don't have to actually write a compound sentence in your, don't have to display compound sentences in your writing for your task 1 or 2. But your complex sentences and simple sentences are important. So I'll just run through this, and I'll also put in, before I forget, I'll just put this link on the chat so that you can refer to it as well in your at your pace. Then if you look at a compound sentence, it'll have a coordinating conjunction, which I'll explain someday in future, and semicolon. So for your task 2, try and put one compound sentence. If you can make a note of this. So for your task 2, there should be at least one compound sentence. Throughout your essay, there should be at least one compound sentence for your task 2. But task 1, you're not expected to actually write in a compound sentence. So what is a compound sentence? It has two independent clauses, or in short, it has two simple sentences. Okay. So how are they separated? See, Tom reads novels, Jack reads comics. So there are two simple sentences. After the first simple sentence, there is always a comma, then a coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunction are your simple conjunctions: for, and, but, or, yet. All these are simple conjunctions. So there's always a comma after your simple sentence, then a coordinating conjunction, and then your next simple sentence or your other independent clause. So compound sentence is joining two independent clauses. This is the first style of writing. Write your first independent clause, put a comma, then after a comma, there's always a space. Then you put your coordinating conjunction, which is your simple conjunctions, and then you put your second independent clause. The second way to write it is with a semicolon, which I think we've discussed it once or twice, maybe once. So this is important for your task 2. Throughout your essay, at least one of this will lift your scores. If you put 2, this will lift your scores further, but at least one, and it'll lift your scores. So how do you write it? Your first independent clause, Tom reads novels. Okay, then a semicolon, a space after every punctuation. Then you put your fancy conjunction, however, moreover, furthermore. Okay, these are called conjunctive adverbs. Okay, these are called your fancy linking words. Think of office emails, however, moreover. And then you put a comma again, and then you put your second independent clause. So these type of sentences are important for your task 2. One is enough. That's all. Then for the third way that you can write a compound sentence is you put a simple sentence, just a plain semicolon. But you should know there is no conjunction here, just a semicolon. And usually the following independent clause will start with a pronoun. Tom reads novels. His friends reads comics. His friend reads comics. So 3 ways to write your compound sentence. Separated by a comma and a coordinating conjunction, you put 2 independent clauses. Second way to write it, 2 independent clauses, which has a semicolon. After the first independent clause, a semicolon, and then your a conjunctive adverb or your fancy conjunctions, put a comma after, and you put your second independent sentence. So this is your important style. B. The third is important for you. Complex sentence. It has only one dependent clause. So it has one independent clause and a dependent clause. So this is important for you. You have to demonstrate that you can write a simple and complex sentence. So every paragraph in your task 1 or task 2 should contain both simple and complex sentences. So for you to write your complex sentence, there's one dependent clause. That means it can't stand alone. So if you look at this clause, although Tom reads novels, it cannot be your independent clause. So this separated by a comma. So it always starts with a subordinating conjunction or a relative pronoun, or in other words, a linking device will be there. So this is why I tell you to always start it with although, though, or something. So you start with a linking device, you put the dependent clause separated by a comma. Your independent clause is joined to a dependent clause with this conjunction or with this linking device. The second way to write it is two independent clauses with just the conjunction, by just the subordinating conjunction, but there is no comma or no punctuation in between. Chitin, are you getting something with this?
Yes, yes, I'm following. I'm following.
Crystal, are you able to understand me? Okay, I know it's a bit boring, but it's important for your writing. So the third way to write it is, okay, and the third way to write it is you put a relative pronoun, who, which, that. So the pen that I'm holding in my hand, so you put a relative, so the noun, the subject, comma, and then you put a relative pronoun, who. So you say the boy who lived, or the man who competed, the man who contested. So that is called a relative pronoun, which is referring to a noun. So even though this is a question word, who, it's referring to Jack Smith. So this is a relative pronoun. So the bottle which I am holding in my hand. So which becomes a relative pronoun. So for your complex sentence, one way is to start off with your cohesive device, or you put your cohesive device in between two independent sentences, or you put the subject, a comma, there's a relative pronoun, who reads comics and then rarely reads novels. So if you look at the third style of sentence, you put your independent clause, a non-essential dependent clause. That means who reads comics is actually non-essential. There's Jack Smith rarely needs novels is enough, but here they're giving more information. So this is actually a non-essential dependent clause. Jack Smith, who reads comics, and then comma again, and rarely reads novels. Then the fourth way to write it is independent clause, and then essential dependent clause, and then a clause again. People who read comics rarely read novels. The last type of sentence is your compound complex sentence. Okay. This will help you to achieve a band higher than 7. So try and pay attention to it to avoid risk. So how do you start with the compound complex sentence? It has two independent clauses, which is joined to one or more dependent clause. So there is a dependent clause and two independent clauses. They're joined. So dependent clause, you put a comma, and then two independent clauses separated by a comma and then a coordinating conjunction or your simple conjunctions. Second way to do it is independent clause, comma, conjunction, and then again an independent clause, and then your linking word, your cohesive device, and then another dependent clause. So in short, two independent clauses and one dependent clause. So you have to make note of the punctuation pattern for this one. Okay, here's where we all go wrong. So make note of your punctuations. So I'll give you a minute to just go through this because there is one more thing that I need to pull up. Okay, so I'll give you a minute break just to, you can take a break or you can, I'll time myself for a minute. I just need to pull out something else. I'll give you a break for a minute just to go through it or to close your eyes for a minute. Okay, just give me one minute. Oh, that's the end of my minute, but give me 30 seconds more, please. Okay. I just wanted to bring to your attention this as well. You know, we lose a lot of points when our punctuations are not correct. So give me a minute. Okay. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's
These are
visible.
the rules for you for our commas, okay? So how they mark us is when they mark us for band 7, each time we are allowed 1 or 2 punctuation errors. But if we have more than 2 or more than 3 punctuation errors, then we go down by band 2.5. So I'll just post this on the chat as well. So I want you guys to go through this as well. I know it's a lot of information and I know it's boring, but it will help you for your scores. Give me just this. I don't know where that is. I'll see if I can post this as an image. Okay, I found it. All right, so we'll go back to our letter now. Okay. You already had it, Jitin?
No. I saw that image. I just searched for that image on Google.
Okay. All
That
right.
image was missing the last point. 5 and 6 were cutting from the bottom.
Oh, mine is it?
Mm.
Okay, sorry. Thanks for that. All right. So this is, I had written a letter today, but this is your letter for today, your application letter. So you know that your task is for 20 minutes, but if time allows, then maybe we can write one more letter. So this is a letter for a job application, which we all do regularly. So make a plan for about 2 minutes, draw a grid, write the purpose of it, what your body para 1 will contain, what your body para 2 will contain, and body para 3 would contain, and then show me your plan and then start beginning to write your letter. So I'll time you for 2 minutes. This is your question for today. I want you to make a grid, divide your page into 4 and write the purpose, the audience, the formality, so that your tone is consistent. Your body paragraph 1 should contain what experience you have and details regarding that. Body para 2 should contain what your work involves or what you should be asking what the work involves. And body para 3 should contain if they have an accommodation or not. Can you try and get this done? So take 2 minutes for planning. I'll time you for 2 minutes and we'll go ahead with that. Okay, is that okay, both of you?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, your time starts now. I'm pausing recording.
Yes, just give me
Okay,
30 more seconds to take the photograph. One.
okay. And Crystal, how are you faring? Have you made a plan? Let me know if you need help, okay?
I always forget to make this, you know, 4-box thing. And whenever I do it, I always find my thoughts to be much more organized.
Yeah, even me. So, part-time work, you're writing it to, so add interested. So if you're writing it to the manager or someone. Then body para 2, your experience. Body para 3, what work, what does it mean, entail? Involve, maybe. The last one is you're inquiring if they have accommodation and time request. Okay.
That is tone request.
Oh, tone request. Okay.
I messed up with the tone in the last letter, so I've written that.
Yes. So go on and start off. How many minutes do you need? Shall I time you for 7, 8 minutes?
Okay.
Or 10 minutes. I'll time you for 7 minutes, and if you need more time, I'll time you then. All right. Same goes with you, Krista. And if you get stuck on the way, let me know, please. Thank you. All right. Should I think I should stop sharing and enable you. Okay. Dear Mr. Hitesh Chowdhury, I was thrilled to see the part-time job for your hotel in Sydney. I'm keen to apply for the post of assistant manager. As I thought of being a part of your team and gain the once in a lifetime opportunity of working with you here.
Some grammar mistakes would be there all over the
because you were in
place.
a hurry. I have an MBA degree with specialization in marketing. To add to my credentials, I also have 5 years of experience in the dash industry. Moreover,
What another word can I use for hotel industry?
hospitality.
Hospitality. Thanks.
Moreover, I would like to give to request you. What else can be F&B, right? Food and beverage, uh, hospitality, food and beverage industry. Something. Yeah, I think that's all. Customer service. I have an MBA degree with specialization in marketing. To add to my credentials, I also have 5 years of experience in the hospitality industry. Moreover, I would like you to give me more information on the tasks and challenges this role entails. Also, I would be very grateful if you could tell me the accommodation facilities near the hotel nearby is wrong so that I can save my time in traveling, hoping for a positive response. Looks really good. Actually, it looks very good. I'm keen to apply as the thought of being a manager escalated with my excitement to cloud nine. I have an MBA degree with specialization. Information on something about time is there, right? Asking for time, or was it not?
Well, a time was there for traveling in
Uh,
accommodation.
was it for traveling time? Was it written traveling time? Help me.
No, the question never said. It just said accommodation. Ask for accommodation.
I think it asked for time as well. Give me a minute. Okay. Inquire about. Okay. So, what experience you have, what the work involves, and inquire about accommodation. When I wrote this letter, for some reason, I thought they were asked about time, and I wrote something about time, about the work timing and all that.
Can you please share your letter?
I'll just share mine, but like I told you, like an idiot, I wrote about the timing, but let me
Thanks.
share it. Okay. So, this is my letter. I just wrote it in my lunch just before class. Dear sir or madam, I'm writing to inquire about the job advertisement for the part time manager position at the Hotel Paradise as published on Seek. My name is Ruth, and I possess experience in the hospitality sector. I have experience in waitressing, where I was involved in waiting on customers' tables, taking orders, communicating with the kitchen staff. Can you see the punctuations? So here, my name is Ruth, and I possess experience in the hospitality sector. So this is a compound sentence. I'm putting two independent clauses. Then I have experience in waitressing, and then where, that relative pronoun, where I was involved in waiting on customers' tables, taking orders, communicating with the kitchen staff. So each of my verbs are separated with a comma, and serving customers. So I've put more than one verb here. So that's why all my verbs are separated by a comma. Then my linking verb. Moreover, I also have experience as a manager at an inn for 4 months presently. The employment required me to take on all managerial duties, including supervising housekeeping. It would be greatly appreciated if you could brief me on the duties and responsibilities of the job at Hotel Paradise. And there was a mistake here. Since I would like to continue my present part time employment at the inn, so there is a problem here with the punctuation. Let me share my screen and correct it. So, this one. If you can look here, there is a problem with this. So it would be greatly appreciated if you could brief me on the duties and responsibilities of the job at Hotel Paradise. Then I can put full stop and start it with a capital S. Since I would like to continue my present part-time employment at the inn, I would also like to know, so this is a complex sentence. I would also like to know the working hours designated for the role so that I can make adjustments in my schedule to accommodate both jobs. Would you also please let me know if the Hotel Paradise provides accommodation? Hoping to hear from you soon, and yours faithfully, Ruth Cherian. So It's the same, except that you didn't want their free accommodation. You wanted to know if they have any accommodations nearby for you to near work, and I think it was good enough. Do you want me to share this letter on chat?
I have already taken a screenshot.
Okay.
Thanks.
So
Give
can
me
you
a
do?
band, please.
Oh,
Band,
what is
band,
that?
band.
Band. Okay. Can I see it once more? Just
Sure.
write down
One
your.
second.
Crystal, you're a silent spectator, huh? I think I should stop sharing my screen to see yours. Okay. Dear Mr. Hitesh Chowdhury, I was thrilled to see the part-time job advertisement you had posted in the newspaper today for your hotel. So part-time job advertisement, this for your hotel should be over here. Not for your hotel, for the hotel in Sydney or for your hotel in Sydney. I posted, you will put it here. Why can't I write? I'm not able to write it. Or am I writing it?
One moment, please.
No problem.
Where did it go?
I was thrilled to see the part-time job advertisement you had posted today. You should put the role, okay? For the role, or here it written assistant manager. In the newspaper today. There's no need of this one. And there's no need of assistant manager in capital in the newspaper today. I am keen, so you would put your name. It's Chetan. And I am very keen to apply for the position of the assistant manager, as the thought of being a part of your team and getting the once in a lifetime opportunity of working with you has escalated, so this is not needed. My excitement to cloud 9. So you wouldn't say escalated my excitement, instead you would say I am on cloud 9, has put me on cloud 9 instead of escalated. So you would just put the very thought of this has put me on cloud 9. Then I have an MBA degree with specialization in marketing. To add to my credentials, I also have 5 years of experience in the hospitality industry. Moreover, I would like to request you to give me more information on the tasks and challenges this role entails. Also, I would be very grateful to you if you could tell me the accommodation facilities near the hotel or surrounding the hotel, around the hotel. The hotel so that I can save my time in traveling. So your task achievement is achieved completely. So I'll give you a 7 for that. And your coherence and cohesion is good, though I would so you put your cohesive devices for every sentence. So your coherence and cohesion is also at 7, And then your task achievement, what else is there? Your lexical resources could be improved a little bit. So I'll put you at 6.5 there. And your grammar range and accuracy is good, but you have to work on your punctuation. So I'll give you a 6.5 over there. So you have to work a little more on your vocabulary and a little more on your grammar range and accuracy. So 7, 7, 6.5, 6.5 divided by 4. I'm sorry, I didn't have a calculator right now. Okay. Any doubts? All good?
All good. Thank you so much.
No problem. Hi, Blessed. My name is Ruth, and thank you for joining in. You have a lovely name. You called Blessed. Is that your name, or is that just your profile name? So my name is Ruth, and we're just taking part in the. I'm not taking part. I'm talking like we are in church. So we're just discussing task 1 of the IELTS general training module, and we'll be moving on to speaking. So Jitin, this is going to be your homework for today, and I'll just post it on chat. So this is your homework. It's an informal letter. All of you guys, even Crystal and Bless, you can try your hand at this. And we'll move on to speaking. Before we move on to speaking, Crystal, I know you're new, but did you have a problem while writing? You've been quiet for some time. Are you paying attention? Are you there? Are you not? And Blessed, can you introduce yourself? Care to introduce yourself or Blessed? Blessed? How do you pronounce your name? Okay, we only have about half an hour. Let's move on to speaking. Before we move on to speaking, I'll pull out. Okay. My name is Kathleen. Oh, hi, Kathleen. Nice to meet you. I thought your name is Blessed. Okay, so we're just doing speaking. Are you in a position to talk? Can you talk, or you just want to listen? Both of you, Crystal and Kathleen, we are going on to speaking. So if you guys can talk, then we can take and we can attempt speaking together. Okay, all right. So because it is Jitin, just because there are new students, I'll just share the band descriptor and I'll just explain it once more very quickly, and then we'll go on to the test. That's all right, no problem. So for your speaking, if you're looking at band 7 and above, you are judged or you're marked for 4 factors. You're marked for your fluency and coherence. You're marked for your vocabulary, your grammar range and accuracy, and pronunciation. So you're marked for these 4 factors. So fluency means you can speak at length without breaking. So it doesn't mean you can't pause even to breathe or to swallow, but it only means that you can converse at length, that you can speak for a long time, and you can speak without pausing to think about words. For example, if I'm talking and I forgot to say the word for lunch. Imagine I'm telling that I ate lunch and I forgot what's the word for lunch. So if I'm talking during my break, I ate my breakfast, which was supposed to be consumed in the afternoon. So I'm looking for a word for lunch. So it's very obvious that I'm not able to arrive at the appropriate word. So your fluency is broken when you are taking a break to look for words to express yourself. or when you're thinking for words to express yourself, and if you interchange the genders, or if you're looking at how to convey this. So it usually happens because we're translating a part of our speech from our native language to the English language. So we're looking for word to word translation of our thoughts. So that's the reason why fluency mainly breaks for many students. So if you're not searching for words, then don't worry too much about your fluency. And then if you make an error for band 7 and above, you are allowed to go back and correct yourself. In fact, it's appreciated. It gives an understanding that you can understand mistakes, or you can correct your own mistakes. Then for band 7, for your lexical resource, it's important that you use vocabulary used for speech, and then you use less common vocabulary, and use idiomatic languages, such as walk in the park, cup of tea, it was a breeze, and things like that. Use idiomatic languages or metamorphical languages to get a higher band in your speech. And then for grammar, range, and accuracy, you have to use a range of complex structures of sentences. Like we just discussed, your simple and complex sentences, you can also use compound sentences. So here, even though your punctuations don't matter while you're speaking, try and begin your sentences with a linking device, with a cohesive device. So if you say, while I was walking down the road, when I think of the time when I was younger. So you're beginning it with a cohesive device. So automatically your sentence is in the compound sentence. So even if you convey yourself or you express yourself in the active voice, you can say, I walked down the street when I was younger. So you can always say, my younger self was walking down the street. So intentionally proving that you can speak active, both in the active and passive voice. You're demonstrating your use of both voices. And it's also important that you speak in all the three tenses, your present, past, and future tense. So your job is always remember, your end result is to demonstrate that you can speak fluently, you can speak with the proper linking devices, with the right words, with the right vocabulary. You can speak in both active and passive voices, and that you know the difference between your tenses. Okay, that's your end result. Okay, then for your pronunciation, it's nothing to do with your accent. For example, or for instance, if you are listening to me now, you know for sure that I'm not a native Indian, I'm a native English speaker. I'm from India, so I've got a very strong Indian accent, but it doesn't hinder you from understanding me. If it hinders you, then there's a problem with my accent, there's a problem with my pronunciation. So as long as the examiner can understand your speech and your thoughts, then it's okay. No problem with your accent. Okay. Any doubts so far? Hi, Carlos. Welcome to today's class. My name is Ruth, and I'm your trainer for today. So we're just talking about speaking on how to achieve band 7 and above. Are you free to talk? Will you be able to talk or no?
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. And how are you?
Very good. Yes, a little bit. I can talk.
You can't talk? You can?
No, I can.
Okay, all right. So we're just doing part 1 and 2 of speaking. If time permits, we have half an hour, so we can do part 1 and 2 of speaking. So I'll first start off with Jitin. So, and I'll just explain what happens. Have you taken the IELTS test before?
Yes, my first time was 3 months ago.
Okay, so you're quite familiar with the things.
With the ask, with the questions, yeah, a little bit.
Okay, and what is your desired score?
Oh, my desired score is probably 7.75 if I want. If I can, sorry.
Okay, and is this for your PR purpose or for your migration?
Migration.
All right, okay. You sound a little familiar. Do we know each other? No.
No, not yet.
Okay. So, the speaking module or the speaking module is divided into 3 sections, section 1, 2, and 3. So when you begin your IELTS test, IELTS speaking is for about 12 to 14 minutes, and it's for 3 sections. So as you go, your examiner is going to introduce himself or herself, introduce themselves, and he or she is going to ask for your identification. So remember to carry your passport with you. And then you will be asked to tell your full name, and then they'll start asking part 1 questions. So part 1 consists of short questions which require you to answer it, not for a long time. So you will be asked general questions which is related to your personal life mostly, something which is basic general questions, and you'll have to see that you answer it in a sentence or 2. So do not answer it in 1 word or so. Try to answer it in a sentence or 2. Okay. So this is going to be, he's going to ask you anywhere from 5 to 8 questions depending on the duration or depending on your answer to it. If you elaborate a lot, then he will stop at 4 or 5 questions. But if you are not speaking much, he will or she will ask you more than 1 question. I mean, more than 5, 6 questions. So let's begin part 1 of speaking. I'll just post this linking words in the chat so that you guys can go through it. So the band descriptors and the linking words, I'll just post it in your chat so that you can go through it, what I mean by linking words, and you can express yourself using this. So I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll open up part 1 of speaking. Jitin, it's your turn to go.
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. So I'll just ask you the questions. All right, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
Okay, joke. All right. So I don't know, they look to be strange questions, but okay. I'll ask you from 2 sets. I think you'll find this interesting. So these is a list of your 2021's speaking question, 2020 and 2021's part 1 questions. Okay, so they are a new set, and I just picked them up last week. So Jitin, let's talk about coffee or tea. Do you drink coffee or tea?
I am interested in both the beverages. Both of them serve a different purpose for me. Tea is when I am feeling cold, and I usually just grab a cup, put some water, heat it in the microwave, and dip the tea bags. That's tea for me. I don't have the luxury. Some people like to boil milk, add all those ingredients. I am not fond of that luxury tea. Tea for me is just tea bag and hot water. And because I'm lactose intolerant, I don't drink milk. And tea with soya milk would not look good. Coffee is not. I'm not a frequent consumer of coffee. Coffee is where when when I have to burn the midnight oil, that's only when coffee comes in use for me.
Well done. So you can always use phrases like it appeals to my taste tea appeals or it does not appeal to my taste, and those kind of phrases will help you. Are you ready for the next question? When did
Yes.
you last drink coffee or tea?
My last coffee was 3 or 4 days back when I had some assignment to complete. I had to wake up till 1 a.m. in the night, and without coffee, that is just impossible for me. That's an impossible task. Tea, I am a bit more frequent in drinking tea, and my last tea was this morning itself after my breakfast. And because the winters are setting in, and it was 9 or 10 in the morning, so a tea was almost hard to miss.
Okay. So, which would you offer to visitors who come to your house?
I always have both the beverages with me. I know people are choosy when it comes to their hot beverages. Some like tea, some prefer coffee. Uh, Indian origin people and Europeans mostly have tea as their preference, while I have observed that coffee is the first choice for Americans. That's just my observation, could be wrong. But so I always have both of the options available for my guests.
Okay. So you had a repetition of little bit.
Mm,
Okay. So a bit of a repetition there. I picked it from you. And then beverages repeated. So what could you use instead of tea, coffee? A hot cup of joe for, or a cup of joe for coffee, a hot cup of joe,
a
tea,
hot cup of what?
Joe, joe, like
What's
in,
that?
that's coffee.
Ah, nice word.
Okay, so a cup of joe could be coffee. My uh, coffee, and you could call, in India they make tea like chai. In India, tea is called chai. It's made by boiling and all that. Hot beverages was a very good usage. Then instead of people or Indian origin people, you could um, call it people of Indian origin.
Mm.
So I think it was just nitpicking, but it's still it was done well. I'm just nitpicking. Okay, I'll give you a tricky one. Some of part one questions. I'm just looking for tricky questions. These are a cup of tea for you. Uh, okay, I think you'll find this. I don't know, but let's see. Do you like going to museums?
I prefer going to museums rather than going to beaches or mountains. Some do like the fresh air of beaches or having that smelling the pure air in the mountains, but I am not that type. I am more of a studious type. I prefer the company of books and archaeological artifacts in my midst. Uh, they tell us how the society has been, how we as human beings have evolved over the time, rather than just roaming around the beach and seeing animals.
Okay,
I prefer going to the museum.
all right. Have you ever been to an art gallery?
I am not on the creative side. Art galleries are not something that um,
That are not your preference, your
not
choice?
my preference.
Okay, okay. Did you take art classes when you were a child?
Very frankly, I was very bad in art. Most of my art exercises were completed by my sister.
Mhm.
Uh, the We had monthly submissions in art, and till the last minute, I had no idea what to do. I just went to my sister, requested her that you have to do this, and I'll give you some sweets or I'll give you this present. And she was the one who had to bail me out on the art assessments every time for 3 years continuously. I am really bad. I've had a hard time in coping up with art lessons.
Okay. Are there any paintings on the wall in your bedroom?
None that I have bought on my own. They were either gifted to me by someone, or they were just there by the landlord. They were just kept there by the landlord himself.
Okay. So was it a bit tricky?
An unusual one, yes.
Okay. So first thing, instead of do you like going to museums? You elaborated quite a bit on that. You can elaborate less; it doesn't matter. But you did a good job there. So while telling that, you said I'd rather. So you could use words I'd rather. Or I'd rather choose, or I'll any day choose museums and books over hiking and athletic kind of recreation. So you could use words like recreation, and then you said I something about books amidst me. So you can always tell I'd like to be surrounded by books and historical artifacts. Because I'm not much of a people person. I think books make a good friend any day. And then for the art question, you told very, very a lot. So you can always start with, you started with very frankly, which is good. And you can say unfortunately or unluckily or unfortunately, I'm not very good in the creative department. And when it comes to painting or drawing or the craft side of things, creative department, creative sides of things, or you could use a phrase like, my creative brain evades me, or the creative side of my brain evades me. And you could use that. Then very bad could be used. I'm very bad at art. You could use I'm terrible. I'm not a good artist. I'm terrible at art. I'm just telling this because you use very bad. You could always use terrible instead of very, very. Then my sister often helped me out. So very often my sister bailed me out. That was a good usage. Then about did you purchase? You said none that burn a hole in my pocket. Okay, that none that burnt. So about purchasing art, none that burnt a hole in my pocket, none that I paid money for, or none that I purchased with my own money. It was either a gift or a courtesy of my landlord. All good?
You used one word there. Creative side of brain is something.
Yes, Carlos. I'll be asking you after Jitin. Creative
My
side
creative side of brain is
evades me.
evades me. Thank you.
Any doubts?
All good, all good. Thank you.
All right. So, Jitin, I'll start off with Carlos, and if time permits, we'll go to part two. If not, we'll do more of part one and conclude. Carlos, are you there? Are you ready? Are you busy?
Yes, I'm ready.
What is the band that you're looking at?
What? Sorry, can you ask me again?
Sure. What score are you looking at?
Oh, yep. I'm trying to have probably 7 or 7.5.
Okay. And when do you wish to sit for your test?
When? Probably on June of this year.
June.
Yeah, June or July. And I'm
June
not sure.
or July. Okay. And Jitin, you're sitting end of next month, is it?
Yep.
This month, 15
End of
days.
April. Oh my
Ah,
god.
sorry.
I'm getting tensed.
Mm.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you have to take a mock test, okay?
I will try my best to take one today.
No try. Yeah, today or tomorrow. No trying, but take one. Yeah, two every week so that you get used to the thing.
2 every week. I was thinking 2 every day.
2 every day? No, it's too much. Write essays every day. Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday are non-existent for me
Okay.
for
Then,
study.
so that's
Once I go to work, they are
yeah. So
completely
you
exhausted.
yeah. So maybe at least yeah. So you have 3 days in between. At least 2 tests every week, and essay every day. Doesn't matter. At least make it in your head. Topics and then make it in your head. Always keep
Maybe,
your mind on the essay.
would it be possible to cover writing task 2 tomorrow?
Yeah, we are planning to do writing tomorrow.
Uh,
Task 2 tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay. So Carlos, it's your turn. Are you ready?
Yes, miss, I'm ready.
Carlos, I just want to know, are you planning to take the general training test or the academic?
Actually, the general training test.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Okay, so part 1. Carlos, let's talk about voice. Do you like your own voice?
My own voice. And to be honest, no, I don't like, because when I'm speaking with by microphones, I sound like my voice is annoying to me, but I'm not sure about to other people.
Okay. Do you enjoy recording your voice?
For sure, no. I find it I find it very stressful, because how I tell you, my voice sometimes is kind of is loud. So most of the time I try to speak a little bit um oh, a little bit loud, loud. And also I don't like to record my voice, because when I listen it, oh my god, I think that is terrible.
Okay. Um, okay. Are there, does your voice sound similar to your parents?
My voice belong is quite near with my dad.
Okay. All right. I'll just give you your feedback for this and I'll ask you another set of questions. I know this was a very, what can you call it? Like Jitin said, it's unusual. It's a strange set of
Yes.
questions, right? Very
Yeah.
strange. So the first question was, do you like your own voice? And you started off with the linking device. You said, to be honest, no, I
Uh-huh.
don't like the sound of my own voice. That's good. Or I don't like my own sound. I don't
Mhm,
like the way I speak. So instead of
mhm.
using the word voice over
All right.
again, you can say sound, tone, pitch. You could use all those words, okay?
Okay.
So you can say my sound, no, unfortunately, or no, to be honest, no, I don't like how I sound. So you say how I sound, or how my tone of voice, and all that. Okay. And
Mhm,
secondly, the second question was, do you enjoy recording to your voice? And you said, for sure, no. And that could be told as surely not.
mhm.
Surely not. Okay. So that was a good way to express yourself. You said, for sure, no. You can always call it surely not, or definitely not, most certainly not. Okay.
Okay.
Or you can just say, no, thank you. I don't enjoy listening to my voice again. And you used a word, my voice is annoying to me, which was a good usage. And thirdly, you said you wanted to tell how you wanted to express yourself more. So you said, how can I explain to you? Or how shall I tell you? So instead of that, you can always say, to make myself more clear, or to clarify myself, or to clarify, or to make myself more clear. And then you express your ideas, okay? Then, when I asked you, does your voice sound similar to your parents? You said, It is very near to my dad. So instead of using the word similar, very good. You used a different vocabulary, which is good. But you can also say it is very close to my dad's sound, or I sound very close to my dad, or me and my dad, we have the same kind, or we have the same sound. When we speak, people often mistake us for the other. Or you can also make up stories. You can say we fool people, or people are fooled, or they always mistake us for the other, or something like that. Okay, just to elaborate a little bit. Am I making myself clear to you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's so clear.
Okay, on the chat, I have sent a list of expressions. Okay, so when you want to express yourself, what you do, when you want to put in more ideas, what words you use. So go through that list of the Word document. So I'll ask you another set of questions, Jitin, Crystal, and Kathleen, because you're listening to me. Even as I ask Carlos questions, I want you guys to make your answers for these, okay? Because they are not very usual questions, but they were asked in 2020 and 2021 as well. So the next one, Carlos, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, I'll ask you an easy one because I think you might like. Okay, maybe this is a very common one. Let's talk about films and movie stars. Who is your favorite film star?
My favorite film star is Sylvester Stallone.
Okay,
I enjoy his movies.
okay.
I love his his job when he is acting, and also I love his story because his story is quite hard when I know about him. So I think he is a good actor.
Well done. Okay, I'll just tell you the feedback for this. So, who is your favorite film star? You could say the movie star, or the my favorite lead actor, or the lead actor that I adore is Sylvester Stallone. And then you said I love his job. You could say it's not job, love his work. Okay, so you say I adore his work, I love his work, I am a big fan of his work, and those kind of words. Then you said another one, his story is quite hard. So you can always say his story is inspiring. Okay. Or you say he has a rags to riches story. You know that expression, right? Have you heard of that expression? Rags to riches.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could use that expression. He has a rags to riches story. His story is quite inspiring, and all that. All right, then. Who would you like to be a film star?
Good question. Probably yes, I would like. Probably, but I'm not sure because when you are a film star, when you are an actor, you lost your privacy because probably there will many paparazzis to try to get into your life, and probably they will write something bad about you or probably good. But to be honest, yes, nah.
Okay, so to answer this question, I know it's a very strange question. Would you like to be a, but you started off good. You said it's a good question. So you can always say, interesting. That's an interesting question. Give me a minute. That's an interesting question. Well, honestly, I'm not sure if I want to be a film star because you told about privacy, which is very good. You told about the paparazzi, which is well done. Good choice of words. And then you spoke, they're right. So you can always tell there are rumors, gossip, about them. So you could use words like rumors and gossip. Okay, then otherwise it was a job well done. Then, have you ever met a film star in person?
Film star in person. No, I didn't have the opportunity yet to meet any actress or film star.
Okay, so you can always say unfortunately, or I didn't have the opportunity. You did it. You did it well, but you could elaborate it a little more. So you could say, though I have always wanted to meet a celebrity, I haven't had the opportunity. So instead of repeating film star, which is in the question, you can use words like celebrity or actor or someone, or movie star or something like that. Are film stars popular in your country?
Good. Can you give me 1 minute because it's a good question actually. It's quite different, but in my country, it is depend of the people. Depending of the people who enjoy to speak about the the movie, the famous about the actress, but yes, I think yes, it is common to speak about them.
Okay, so you can say, are film stars popular in your country? So you say, of course they are, or where are they not? So you said it depends on the people and all. So I think you didn't understand the question properly, or you didn't understand my accent, maybe. So the question was, are film stars popular in your country? Um, and you spoke about people talking about them. Maybe you didn't understand the question. Was that then?
No, actually, yeah, I understand, but I think that's where wrong.
All right.
But
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So that's the end of section 1 of speaking for both of you. Before we part for today, is there anything that you would like to ask regarding task 1 of writing, or the speaking test that we um, uh, just attempted?
For the moment, no, I don't have any question about that.
Okay, all right. So tomorrow we'll be taking task 2 of writing. So I'm prepared, please. And we'll meet again from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, the Canberra time, and I'll expect to see you all. And that's all for today then. Have a
Okay.
good day, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So see you tomorrow.
See you. Thanks, guys, and have a good day.
Thank you for the session.
Thanks, Chetan. Is there anything you would like to ask, or anything?
No, all good.
Okay, then I'll see you tomorrow then.
See
Okay,
you
bye.
tomorrow. Bye.